Sometimes the greatest miracle begins when you finally release what you cannot control. Trusting God does not mean that every problem disappears overnight. It means you stop allowing the problem to decide what you believe about your future. The Bible says in Proverbs 3 verse 5, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." That verse becomes powerful when life stops making sense. There may be a season when you pray for an answer, but God seems silent. There may be a door you desperately wanted that suddenly closes. There may be a relationship that changes, a job opportunity that disappears, or a plan that falls apart without warning. Your first reaction may be to ask, "God, why did you let this happen?" But sometimes what feels like a setback is actually God redirecting your steps. When you trust God, the first thing that begins to change is your perspective. You may still see the same difficult circumstances, but you no longer see them through fear alone. You begin to believe that God can work even inside situations you would never have chosen. Joseph probably never imagined that being sold by his brothers would eventually lead him toward a position of influence in Egypt. What looked like betrayal became part of a much bigger story. Your current chapter may not make sense either, but God sees the entire story while you can only see the page in front of you. The second thing that happens when you trust God is that your anxiety begins to lose its authority. Trust does not mean you never feel nervous. It means you stop carrying tomorrow as though it has already arrived. Philippians 4 verse 6 reminds believers to bring their requests to God through prayer and thanksgiving. Imagine waking up with the same unanswered questions, but choosing to pray before you panic. Imagine facing an uncertain future and saying, "Lord, I do not know what will happen, but I know you are with me." That simple decision can change the atmosphere inside your heart. The third thing that happens is that obedience becomes easier. When you trust God, you do not need to understand every step before taking the next one. Abraham left what was familiar because God called him towards something he could not yet see. Faith often works like that. God may give you enough light for the next step without showing you the entire road. You may not know where the opportunity will lead. You may not know how the financial situation will work out. You may not know when the prayer will be answered, but you can still choose the next faithful step. Sometimes faith looks like continuing to pray when nothing appears to be changing. The fourth thing that happens when you trust God is that you become less controlled by circumstances. If your peace depends entirely on everything going perfectly, peace will always be fragile. But when your peace is rooted in God, storms do not have the final word. Jesus demonstrated this when he slept during a violent storm while his disciples were terrified. The storm was real. The danger was real. But Jesus was still present. That is something you need to remember today. The presence of a storm does not mean the absence of God. You can be surrounded by uncertainty and still be held by a faithful Father. You can cry and still have faith. You can feel afraid and still trust God. You can have questions and still believe that He is good. The fifth thing that happens when you trust God is that you begin to see His faithfulness in places you once overlooked. Sometimes we expect God to answer through something dramatic, but His faithfulness may appear through a conversation, an unexpected opportunity, a quiet moment of peace, or the strength to make it through another difficult day. You may look back one day and realize that the delay protected you. You may realize that the closed doors saved you from something you could not see. You may discover that the season you wanted to escape was actually preparing you for the person God was calling you to become. Romans 8 verse 28 tells us that God works all things together for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. It does not say every experience will feel good. It says God can work through all of it. So if you are waiting right now, do not assume that nothing is happening. Roots grow in darkness before a tree becomes visible. God can be working beneath the surface while your eyes see nothing changing. Keep praying. Keep walking. Keep obeying. Keep trusting. You do not need to know everything God is doing to trust the one who knows everything. Your future is not held together by your ability to predict it. Your future is held by God. So today, release the outcome you cannot control. Give God the relationship you cannot fix. Give Him the financial pressure you cannot solve overnight. Give Him the unanswered prayer that has been weighing on your heart. And when fear tells you that everything is falling apart, remind yourself that God is still holding everything together. You may not understand his timing. You may not understand his methods, but you can trust his character. And one day, you may look back at this very season and realize that God was not ignoring you. He was preparing you. He was protecting you. He was strengthening you. He was leading you somewhere you could not yet see. If this message spoke to your heart, take a moment today to surrender your worries to God and choose trust over fear.